Let's see how the gang kind of views this game going on Sunday. I've got the Cardinals losing this weekend on the road to the Vikings. Vikings are 9-2. They play very well at home. I want to see the Cardinals get right. I absolutely think there's paths to it, but if you're forcing me to make it a prediction and a educated guess, I'm just going to say that the Vikings are just playing a little bit better ball right now. I hope I'm wrong. As I said, there's a couple ways that they can get it done, and going off of a lot of our offensive and defensive and X factors, it's going to take those guys having big games for this to happen. But as of right now, I've got the Cardinals losing 28-18 on the road to the Vikings. But look, that doesn't shut the door on them going to where they want to go and continue to vie for a playoff spot.
You want me to go next here?
Yeah.
All right. This was a tough one for me, actually, because I thought about a lot of the things that Johnny was saying, and I really think that there's an opportunity for the Cardinals to respond in a big way in this game offensively. And I do think there's opportunity against this defense, in spite of the numbers that we're looking at. They're an incredible team in terms of sacks, right? You see some of the gaudy numbers this defense puts up. They're a great team against the run. I feel like the offensive line owes a response, but I wish it were a different matchup this week. This is a really tough matchup for the Cardinals coming off a loss. I don't think they quite get it done, but as Johnny noted earlier, I also don't think that's the end of the season for them with the next 3 games coming up. And even those 2 games within the division that are by no means unwinnable games. They have a stretch of games where they can right the ship. They would just fall to 500 with this record, and then they have an opportunity still. I think they'll be very much in the NFC West race, even if they lose this game.
Damon, you go.
Yeah, Damon.
Oof.
I think it's going to be real low scoring. I really respect what the Cardinals defense has done recently, and I think Sam Darnold is slowing down. So I think the Cardinals defense is going to have a good outing, but I don't love the matchup with the Vikings defense and the Cardinals offense. I think that they kind of nullify the run game a little bit, and that leads to the Cardinals struggling to score and Cardinals low scoring loss.
Bo, I am sorry for you if you have to watch that game that Damon is predicting, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The score is lower than the temperatures.
I guess I'm on a limb here on my own, which is not uncommon for this show. I think the best version of the Vikings have passed. I think we saw that in September and October. And I think we have been led astray as of late because they have been beating on the AFC South. And by beating, like beating by 1 score. And they barely beat a Chicago team that had a janitor as a head coach, respectfully, that was fired today.
Maybe his best job
in the NFL. Like, legitimately have been gifted wins.
A janitor that had to clean the toilets one last time, and then they fired him.
I mean, again, since losing to the Rams, they have played 3 teams that are not good in the AFC South. Yep. The 3 bottom dwellers. Then they beat Eberflus, right? And some of those games, most of those games are 1 possession. This is the first time since they played the Rams in Detroit at the end of October that they're going to play a real football team. That a real football team that's going places in 2024. That
I just want to correct one thing, Johnny. Eberflus beat himself.
He
does that every week. Okay.
Yeah. He self-sabotaged. Is there a recipe for the Cardinals to lose this game? Absolutely. But if you don't think this game is going to be close, 1 possession, I like give me Jonathan Gannon in his return to Minnesota. Give me Drew Petzing in a revenge game in his return to Minnesota. There's so many fingerprints from this Cardinal coaching staff from their time in Minnie. They know it well. They know Kevin O'Connell well. And I'm going to tell you right now, how has Nick Rallis done against Shanahan disciples this year? Well, he shut down Kyle Shanahan, and he shut down Sean McVay, and he shut down Mike McDonald in the second half against Miami. Give me a foursome this year. He's going to go 4-0 against Shanahan disciples, and he's going to get the dub. But he lost to LaFleur, so 4-1. So I missed before, but that's an outlier game. I do think the Cardinals win this game. I think last week was a perfect storm, again, where they were feeling themselves off the bye. They're going to come back this week refocused. This is not them losing last week because of injury, and they're depleted, and they've got Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach. Those kind of losses, and this is what I kept preaching last week, those kind of losses happen to everybody. But that's a perfect opportunity that we could look back at that game and say that was a blessing in disguise. You could get refocused and you can win a much bigger game on the road this weekend against a good team and then get your mojo back. I think that's what happens. I think the Cardinals win this game late in the fourth quarter, and I think it projects them to the NFC West title. I honestly do. I felt a weird way about this game all week. I did not feel great about some games in prior, and they lost those games and didn't think they'd beat San Francisco. I just think too much of Jonathan Gannon and specifically Nick Riles right now. I don't think they're losing to Sam Darnold, home or away. That's my opinion.
Johnny V, all the feels. Wow.
I like it.
Yeah.
This defense, man, they get a couple turnovers. Look out. Like there's no reason for me to believe that this defense is going to look terrible this weekend.
I love your passion. I do. And I hope you're right. I hope you're right and everybody's wrong. Usually I'm on the opposite end of that one. I hope you're right and we're all wrong and we're celebrating the big Cardinals win on Sunday.